Here we are, everybody lining up on the grid, getting ready to go for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix here at TTRL 4 Tier 3. So we're moments away here, Torque Titans Racing League. About to get underway here for the third round of the season here for season 3, I'm pretty sure it is. Sorry guys, I commentate on a lot of leagues. I'm sure it is season 3. But anyway, here we are, lining up on the grid, and we're moments away from the start here at the Jeddah Corniche. As we see there, a few drivers missing their grid spots, but most of them nailing it there. And the lights are going to come on at the head of the grid, and we're moments away from the start. And it is lights out, and we're underway. And looks as though Richie got a good start there on the hard tyres, leads into turn 1. Joe Louis there attacking on Salates here as they come through turns 2 and 3, and Joe Louis looks like he's got around the outside there up into second place. As we can see Dave there just behind Salates at the moment. We've got, there's a collision there between a Ferrari and a Red Bull, and the Red Bull there dropping down the order, Spion down to 17th place here, as that's been a horror show there for Spion. We see Devils there moving ahead of Jay Holly up into P5. Jay Holly dropping down a couple of places here. Schumacher and Invade following Devils through there up into 6th and 7th places respectively. Jordan Hillier has made up a place here on the opening lap up into P10 ahead of Zainu. Those two both on the soft tyres, the two Alpine teammates. That could have been an instruction there for Zainu to let Jordan through, but at the moment it's Richie leading by just under a second here ahead of Joe Louis, who's keeping him on his toes at the moment. We've got Jay Holly there moving ahead of Schumacher. Schumacher getting swamped here. Stephen Mack there squeezing through the gap, and Schumacher here is under pressure now from the likes of Jordan and Invade, as Jordan's also got ahead of another driver in the shape of Invade, and now looking to try and attack here on the back of this the guys in front of him. There's 3 of them, and there's a big gap between these guys and the lead 5, who have all kind of broken away a little bit on this opening lap here. But Stevie Mack looking to the inside into the final corner, can't make that move at the moment, tucks in, but he's still on the back of Jay Holly here as they come down the start finish straight. He now looks to the outside here. Is this Stevie Mack? Is this going to be a move here into turn 1? I think it might well be here. Is this going to look to try and go around the outside, as Jay Holly just diving back up the inside there, as they're still side by side through this next sequence of corners. But Stevie does get that one done up into P6. Ocean Blade's also got ahead of Hatsune Miku up into 11th place as well, as we've got Berza there looking at the inside of Jam, but a little bit too far away just at the moment. Invade and Carl both in the pits here at the end of the first lap, and Richie Chapper has just opened up over a second of a gap here over Joe Louis at the moment. Salates is still over the back of Joe Louis in the fight for second place. Devils has managed to pull up onto the back of Dave, but Dave has dropped out of DRS to the podium runners. So he'll be looking to try and claw that back. It's Dave there with a massive twitch as he went through that corner and has lost out to Devils as a result. So Dave there losing that position, as in the meantime we've still got Salates and Joe Louis going at it here for second place on the road at the moment. But Dave there came close to losing it, didn't he, and did well there to hold on to it. But Devils gaining a position as a result. Those two have just lost a bit of time here to the second and third place drivers battling here, as we got Salates there a little bit too far back on Joe Louis going through the final corner, and is going to have to hold position for the time being then. End of lap 2. And Richie Chapper still pulling away. Salates with DRS moving ahead of Joe Louis into turn 1. Devils still ahead of Dave in the background. Big gap back to Stevie Mac, Jay Holly and Schumacher. Then you've got just behind them Jordan Hillier, Zainu. There's Shane there trying to make the move on Hatsune Miku, as they're side by side on the exit of turn 3, and they're still going at it here, as the Williams there losing 2 places there to the Sauber of Hatsune Miku and Ocean Blade in the Red Bull, as those guys move up a place there. So Shane there getting a horrible run there as they came through that sequence, and unfortunately him has dropped down to 13th place as a result of that one. Battle still rages on here for second and third places. Salates and Joe Louis. Devils has now joined that battle, has now ditched Dave in what was the fight for P4. Devils is now in that battle for the podium, as Ocean Blade has moved back ahead of Hatsune Miku, but they're still side by side here, these two, and they're going at it. They almost banged wheels there as they came through that section of the track, and Ocean Blade for the time being just clinging on to this one. Hatsune Miku trying everything, but at the moment Ocean Blade standing tall to any challenges that the Salva's throwing at him here. So right on board here with the Sauber Hatsune Miku. I think it's Hatsune Miku's debut here tonight. I've never seen Hatsune Miku on the track before, but as they come down towards the final part of the lap, and he's still trying to get a little bit closer if he possibly can. Big train of cars here from Stevie all the way down to, well, about 15th place Jam. But Shane here now trying to attack on Hatsune Miku as well as they come down at the start finish straight. Burza right with these guys. Here we come then, down towards turn 1 once again. As Hatsune Miku locking up there going into turn 1. Ocean Blade there just staying ahead there on the exit of the corner. Although it was Hatsune Miku's late braking move there that had the potential to force an overtake, didn't quite happen there for him. And at the moment, Ocean Blade still holds on to 11th place as we got Invade there moving ahead of Elijah. That's because Elijah's in the pits. That would explain that one. In the meantime, Richie's got over a second of a gap, starting on the hard tyres no less. He's looking like he's going to take some beating here tonight, is Richie. I can't envisage any other result other than a Richie win at this rate, because he's just putting away on the slower tyre, theoretically. Certainly doesn't seem slower at the moment though. Devils is ahead of Salates and is now focusing attention on the McLaren of Joe Louis, who's struggling to keep him at bay at the moment. Could Devils be the ones to take the fight to Richie tonight, if anyone? Here he comes then with DRS down towards the final corner. It's going to be an easy move here in towards that part of the track, but he will be giving away DRS to the McLaren here of Joe Louis, who looks to the inside as well, just to try and pile on a bit of pressure here to try and get the position back. Here we are then in the slipstream with the McLaren driver. He's got the DRS, he's got the slipstream. Here he comes down towards turn 1. It's going to be close here. He's just going to get past into the braking zone. He's going to be on the inside line. The Sauber tries to hold it around the outside here, but Devils is trying to he's giving it everything he's got at the moment to gain this position, and he has managed to complete that move here. So coming through the first sector here on lap 5, Devils has gone from quite high back on the grid up into P2. It's been a fantastic opening few laps here. He's less than 2 seconds off of the lead. Now, has Devils got the pace here to reel in Richie and make a fight of this battle for the win here tonight? We'll have to wait and see, but at the moment it's boding well here for Devils, who has made light work of these drivers up the prominent end of the grid in front of him. Stevie Mack is just running in P5, about a second ahead of Jay Louis. There's Schumacher, Zainu and Ocean Blade are side by side as Ocean Blade's trying to gain more places here. Up the inside he goes, up into 8th place with a lovely manoeuvre there up the inside. It's not an easy part of the track to overtake, but Ocean Blade has done absolutely brilliantly there to gain that place, and is now continuing to move up the order here. So Ocean Blade there doing a brilliant job. We've got Invade in the pits at the end of lap 4. But in the meantime, Salates and, Salates is on the back of Joe Louis in the fight for 3rd place. He's got a bit of DRS here coming down towards the final corner. As here he comes then. So Salates has got a free crack here at Joe Louis, because Joe Louis doesn't have the DRS here on Devils. So Salates is going to get that closing speed. A little bit too far back though. Well, actually not a little bit, a big bit too far back to make that move there into turn 1. He's going to have to continue to wait a little bit longer here, as we've got Zainu into the pits here at the end of lap 5. And we've got side by side here in the foreground as Burza has moved ahead of Shane up into P9, and that is a job done there from him. Carl has got ahead of Elijah as well up into P17. Zainu into the pits here at the end of lap 5. And Salates here still trying to force an opening here on the back of Joe Louis. As this battle continues to rage on there, no respite here for the McLaren driver. Schumacher also getting a bit closer here to J.A. Holly. Ocean Blade's been chipping away at the leaders here. Well, not the leaders, but the guys just up ahead. Can he continue to close the gap? He's been gaining a few places here since the opening couple of laps. They're saying that has dropped back a little bit over the course of this lap so far. But on board with the Ferrari, currently running in P4 here. Salates getting a bit closer here to Joe Louis into the final corner again. As we've got Dave there moving ahead of Chapion up into P14. having done his first pit stop of the race. A very early stop, we'll get an undercut, but that's going to obviously have ramifications later on because he'll have done more laps on the tyres. They'll be more worn out than the guys who are going to pit after him. But at the moment, reaping the benefits. Oh, as Jay Holly's crashed out of the race. And there is the car on the exit of the last chicane. So he's had an absolute mare there as Jay Holly, and is out of the race here on lap 7. Is that a safety car? I'm just looking at the bottom corner. I don't think it is. So I think it's going to be recovered under... oh no, is it? Oh no, you know what? No, I think it is a safety car. Yeah, I can see the yellow dot. Yeah. Oh no. Well, that's going to open up the strategy now, because I reckon a lot of drivers are going to fancy their chances at getting this to the end of the race now. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see quite a lot of them potentially coming in for some hard tyres now. Those who started on the hard tyres, aka Richie Chapper and a few others, Stevie Schumacher, Jam, Dave, well, they're going to be in trouble now. And the guys who put the hard tyres on a few laps ago are going to also find themselves in a spot of bother. Carl, Elijah, these guys are not going to have an easy run to the flags. I knew might be alright. He's only had his on for 1 lap. He'll be able to save him under the safety car a bit. Maybe he'll only have to do 17 or 18 laps, racing laps on him. I mean, it's going to be tough, but what do these guys do now? What does Richie, Stevie, Schumacher and Jam do at this point? They've all got to run the mediums. So Richie puts the mediums on. So it looks like a couple of drivers staying out. Well, Jam stays out. Actually, Jam's the only one. Everybody else comes in, which can't really be of much surprise. Stevie, Schumacher, Richie have all gone for the medium tyres. They started on the hards, those guys. It's going to be exciting to see how this pans out. But those who started on the hards are now in a really, really tricky position, because do they try and get the mediums to the end from here? I don't think that's going to be possible. They're going to have to two-stop. The guys who put the hards on probably can go to the end of the race from here. So it really does make it a difficult proposition for those who are now running the medium tyre. Hello? What? What? What is it? What's wrong? Okay. Right, here we are, everybody. We're about to get going again for this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. End of lap 10 here with Richie Chapper leading the way on the medium tyres. As we see a Mercedes there hitting the wall in the background, which is not what you want to be seeing on a restart. But here we are then, back underway. We've got Schumacher already moving ahead. Salate's there dropping a position. You've got the Ferrari there diving down the inside there of the McLaren of Joe Louis, and as they make contact they're going through the corner, but Salate's has got ahead. Schumacher getting back ahead of Jam as well, up into third place, but Richie Chapper clearing away out the front with Devils, who's been given a bit of a reprieve here on the hard tyres. Devils has got a good chance now of winning this race on what I believe is also a debut here tonight for this other Sauber. Obviously we've seen that we've got Hatsu Miku as well, a debutant, so two drivers here driving in their first race here tonight in Tier 3 for the TTRL. As we can see, Salate's there up the inside of Jam, up into fourth place for the time being, as they all are filing through the long left-hander. But Richie Chapper out the front with a slender gap at the moment over Devils. Schumacher here trying to hunt these guys down out the front. They've already gapped Salates here by quite a bit. Salates has got almost a second here to Jam, and Jordan Hillier is all over the back of Jam, but on medium tyres, which have already done 6 laps, albeit only 3 at racing speeds. But nonetheless, Jordan Hillier is not going to, these tyres are not going to last to the end of the race, I'm sure. He'll have to do a stint on the hards, I think, as well. I believe he's done 2 medium stints so far, so that's not going to be able to get him to the end of the race, as we've got Devils taking the lead of the race from Richie, but Richie's not having that as he gets slingshots past him there down the start finish straight, back up into the lead of the race. We've got Jordan also moving ahead of Jam up into P5 down the straight as well, as there's the McLaren there of Joe Louis looking to the inside now of Jam into turn 1. There's almost contact there between them, and Joe Louis runs extremely wide there and loses out to Berza and Stevie Mack, as Dave is now waiting behind these guys as well, but can't make the move there on Joe Louis for the time being. But wow, chaotic restart to this one. Richie and Devils currently separated by half a second at the moment. There's Schumacher there running 2 seconds behind Salates. Jordan, there's Berza moving ahead of Jam up into P6. But it's Richie out the front ahead of Devils at the moment by 0.7 of a second. And Salate's here with some DRS, is going to blast past Schumacher up into third place. That was an easy move there for the Ferrari driver. Oh, Stevie Mack there wide. Joe Louis there moves through up into 8th place as a result. Now Dave also looking to try and capitalise here and move ahead of Jam. Around the outside he goes up into P9. Zainu also getting past as well. Shane there and Ocean Blade. Jam is going backwards at the moment. Ocean Blade around the outside moves up into 12th place, and Jam having a nightmare on those worn out tyres. He's done the whole race on them so far. Missed the trick by not coming in, I'll tell you that. In the foreground there, you've got Stevie Mack down the inside of Berza into turn one. Berza keeping it there as they're still side by side. There was definitely contact there. Joe Louis now looking to try and get involved here around the outside of Stevie Mack as he's got the V car right in front of him, and he didn't really have anywhere to go there. Stevie Mack getting the position straight back off of him as they came through that next sequence of corners. In the meantime, Richie and Devils are still going at it here for the lead of the race. Only half a second between them at the moment. They're joined at the hip in the early stage of this one. Stevie Mack and Invade, the only drivers so far to have picked up a penalty. And we're halfway through the race, so that's pretty good going here. Pretty good discipline from the Talk Titans Racing League Tier 3 drivers here tonight. Devils, though, looking to pile the pressure on the back of the Williams driver, Richie Chapa. He's surely got to be the championship leader the way this season's gone so far. But Devils here with the DRS down towards the final corner. As they come out onto the start finish straight once again, Devils is in the slipstream here with the DRS as well. Here he comes. To the outside he goes now. And Devils here up into P1 once again. Ocean Blade and Zainu here are battling over P10 and 11. There's Shane here in the background. Looking close to him. Here we go. We got Stevie Mack looking to the inside of Joe Louis as well. They're into turn one. Too far away just for the time being. Shane and Ocean Blade are side by side as Shane gets around the outside there. Up into P11 as well. And Spion there moving ahead of Hatsu Miku as well. Up into 15th place here in this race. Berza here looking to try and pile the pressure on the back of Jordan Hillier. Jordan Hillier's medium tyres are going to surely be feeling the pace a little bit now compared to these hard runners who are going to have plenty of tread there as Berza powers past the Alpine there up into P5. Battle at the front still continuing to rage on with the Richie Chapa all over the back of Devils. Down towards turn one we go, and once again the positions switch over there between those two. As we've got Jordan Hillier into the pits here at the end of lap 14, so he's going to probably put a set of hards on and go to the end from here, I would have thought. Pretty sure he's done 2 stints on the medium, so it's going to have to be the hard tyres for Jordan. As the two leaders continuing to rage on out in front with less than half a second separating them. So Ace isn't that far away either. He'll be waiting to pick up the pieces if these two trip over each other. Jam there picking up a 3-second time penalty. He's the third driver in this race to have picked one up, as Stevie Mack has had an absolute horror show. Something's happened here to the Haas and he's had an off, and I think he might have damage there because he's lost a lot of time in that one. Let's have a look at the car and see. It's not obvious, whatever it is. So, having said that, we've just been let past there by Elijah, so I'm wondering if maybe there was a collision there between those two, which Elijah is taking responsibility for there. Could well be that's the case, but we don't know. We didn't see it. But just a theory there on that one. But at the moment, Richie, Devils and Salates here going at it for first, second and third places. Salates has well and truly brought himself into this fight here for the lead with these two. Berza and Schumacher still going at 4th and 5th places. Thing is though, I think Richie has got a bit of game, because he's done 8 laps on these tyres. Obviously put them on lap 7, that's 18 laps. Bear in mind only 15 of those are going to be at racing speed. He probably used up about a lap's worth of tread on those 3 laps under safety car. So when you factor all that in, probably about 16 racing laps Richie Chapper's got to do on a set of medium tyres. I don't know how far the hards go around here, but usually the hards go about 1.5 times the length of the mediums, give or take. My theory would be, I couldn't imagine the hards doing 24 laps. As we've got a car out of the race, and suddenly that question does not need to be answered anymore because the safety car is out, and Richie Chapper and Schumacher, to be fair, as well as Stevie Mack, have all been given a get out of jail free card on that one because they have been given a bit of a lifeline. They can come into the pits and get their tyres changed and come in for a fresh set of mediums or a fresh set of hards over probably a 7-lap stint. It's going to be a tricky decision because well, it's going to be very, very close between the medium and the hard as to which one's going to be the quicker tyre over 7 laps. That is a tough decision, but it's one that they're all going to have to make, unless of course they opt to stay out. But Richie Chapper will be coming in, I'm sure about that, because he's simply got to. Otherwise he'd have to do still 14 racing laps on those medium tyres, which I think is not a viable strategy. So here we come then. Richie Chapper, the leader, coming in. So is Devils. Soleil's following them in. Does anyone roll the dice, stay out and go for track position? It's only these guys really that have that option, because the guys further back aren't close enough to get past under the safety car. So no one is opting for that decision, not at least any of the front runners. We've got Spion staying out. So far the only driver to have not pitted. Is he going to come out here ahead of the leaders? I think he's come out P3, yep. So Spion there coming out just behind Devils and Soleil's. Almost the gamble paid off and put him in the lead, but not quite. So it looks like everybody except Spion has come into the pit. So Spion, unless everyone else's tyres have been spiked, he is going to go backwards on this restart, or unless we get another safety car very, very quickly after this one. But other than that, Spion is going to get very quickly swallowed up here by this pack, and I don't think that was a very smart decision personally. But he obviously rates his chances of being able to hold position here, and let's see how this goes. But 8 laps left to go, probably be 7 by the time we get going, maybe even 6 if it takes a while. But it shouldn't take a while because the last car is only about 3 corners behind the leaders. So I think we should hopefully be getting underway after this lap, maybe even on this lap, you know, because I reckon we're almost here. I was saying that safety car was called out, I think, on the previous lap, so I think it might be a bit too early. I think we may be forced to another lap here due to the rules of F1. Although, saying that, Elijah's almost with the pack now. So what are they going to do here? I mean, we're ready to roll. But I think we are going to do another lap here. Which is a bit frustrating, but a bit unnecessary, but never mind. Never mind. Greta? Stop it, Nana. Granddad. Don't need to spell it out. Have a bit of discernment. You know, just read through the line. There's no one waiting in front of the queue. Watch the bloody TV and stop winding him up with silly fucking questions. Stop winding him up with silly questions and watch TV. Yes, this one. Yes, they are. What do you want? What do you want? I've got to go. Sorry, I'm busy. I can't deal with this. Sorry guys, I just had to very quickly deal with the situation. I do apologise to the TTRL guys for that one. But we have got 5 laps left to go here in this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix for the Tier 3s here tonight. As we've got Devils here who's leading the race on the medium tyres. Richie was handed a bit of a lifeline here, being able to put the medium tyres on, but has lost track position here to the Sauber driver and the Ferrari, so he's got a bit of ground to make up here in these last few laps. Dave's just picked up a 3-second time penalty and becomes only the 6th driver in this lobby to have picked up a time penalty, so they've done pretty well here, to be fair, tonight, the Tier 3 guys for the Talk Titans Racing League. But as we come over the line here to start lap 21, Ocean Blade's got ahead of Dave now, up into 9th place as well. It could have been the pressure from Ocean Blade that caused Dave to do the track limits there, as we've got now Shane there making a move here on Carl. And Shane has actually got Dave there. He's trying to make the move on Dave as well, but Dave stays ahead for the time being. Carl unable to come back at Shane here as they come through the first sector here. Berza in the meantime is on the back of Schumacher as they're battling it out over 4th and 5th places, as Berza was really wide there and running the risk of track limits here, which is not something we're going to be doing, especially at this point in the race. You've got this far without getting a penalty. Don't mess it up now. As we got Salates here on the back of Devils, still in this battle for the lead of the race. He's going to get a bit more DRS down this part of the track. And Salates there blasting past up into the lead once again. What can Devils do about this here? Back in the slipstream, back with some DRS. Here we go once again here as Devils powers past the Ferrari again up into the lead of the race. We've got Berza there moving ahead of Schumacher up into P4 as well, as they come through the final corner once again. Berza still just ahead of Schumacher, and seems to be pulling away a little bit down this straight. We've got Dave there moving ahead of Shane and Ocean Blade. Oh, fuck's sake.
Do you know who's...
So here we are then on the final lap here at Jeddah, and Devils has got a 2-second lead
you.
over
That's
Richie
good.
Chapper, and he's looking like he's going to win the race here tonight. We've got a battle here going on in the background. The Ferrari of Salates is trying to keep Berza at bay. Berza
That
has got
is
the penalty,
Bill.
which is going to obviously affect him
this is
when we get to the end of the
Bill's.
race. He will lose that 4th place here to Schumacher. We've got Joe Louis all over the back of Jordan as well in the fight for P6 on the road. News also there with Shane as well, as they're all in a bit of a train of cars here right now. But Devils has got just half a lap left to go. And he is going to win the race here for round 3.
There.
Richie is going to bring it home in P2 by the looks of it. And it's looking like it's going to be Salates. He's going to hold on ahead of Berza.
And David.
Here we come then, down towards the final corner of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix here for the Talk Titans Racing League Tier 3. Devils up towards the line is going to take the checkered flag and is going to win here tonight at Jeddah. It's going to be Richie over 2nd with Salates in 3rd place, Berza 4th with Schumacher over in P4 actually on the penalties. Berza drops to P5 in the end. Joe Louis is going to come around in P6. Jordan Hillier, Zainu, Shane comes over the line. Ocean Blade there moving up into the points right at the end with the penalties. Carl 11th, Dave 12th with Jam over in P13. Hatsu Maku over in 14th. Elijah P15. And it's going to be Stevie Mack who's going to come around in a moment to take 16th as he comes into the final corner now.
It is my money.
And it will be Chapion who will be finishing in 17th place pretty shortly. Fucking hell, man. What? Why are you going through his wallet, Nana?
Is this my money that's missing?
Why would it be yours?
Because it's my passport.
When was the last
and
time
my
you
cards.
carried cash? When was the last time you carried cash?
I've what?
You do not carry cash anymore.
Oh yes, I no.
No, you bloody well
it's
don't.
in my passport.
Oh, for God's sake, I'm not having an argument with you.
I had to keep some.
Jesus Christ.
I had to keep some. I couldn't use all of it.
So there you have it, everybody. Apologies, there's going to be a few parts of this video missing because I had to edit this because there was just an absolute crisis during it. So I do apologise. There will be a few laps missing from that one, but end of the day, it is the debutant Devils who takes the win ahead of Richie in 2nd with Salates completing the podium. Schumacher and Berza completing the top 5 with Joe Louis, Jordan Hillier, Zainu, Shane and Ocean Blade completing the points. And that is that.
I've got to tell them that you've got all.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Top